Casey.
And I'm Corey.
And we are the Wright Brothers. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Tech Corner.
And in this edition, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be giving you a condensed version of a seminar that we've been giving to boards throughout Southern California over the last few months.
That's right. Now this presentation, what it's entitled is Fun University. And the idea here is that we want to talk about several ways that you can implement fun into your business. Practical, exciting ways, and they'll make the experience of buying and selling homes both more fun for you and your clients. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so we are going to talk about the three main principles from our presentation. And the first one we want to talk about is redesigning your work environment. Corey, explain how and why would agents want to redesign their work environment?
You know, it's kind of funny. Have you ever noticed, it's kind of like the idea of driving a new car. You know, yesterday you're driving your old car and it's just kind of a task and gas is too expensive. And then you get a new car and driving that day is so much more of an experience. You enjoy it, you're invited to take your friends out to lunch. Yeah. You're doing the exact same thing but in a completely different environment. And because of that, it has a totally different mindset. I truly believe that your work environment has the same effect. Yeah. That if it's something that's dull and boring and that you don't enjoy, that's the mindset that you're going to have. But if you can make your work a place that you enjoy being, you're going to be more productive and you're going to spend more time there. I want to challenge you to first look at your office. Make your office a place that you enjoy being. Maybe you put a coffee maker in it or a putter if you love golf. I know myself, I love music. I make sure that there's always music playing in my office when I'm not on the phone. Find ways that you can bring fun into your office. I also want to challenge you to find ways to bring fun into things outside of the office, like your car. I know that many of you spend more time outside of the office than you do inside of the office. Think about making your car, redesigning your car environment so that you love being in it. And lastly, I want to challenge you to re-examine your meetings. Make meetings fun, you know. They don't always just have to be at your office. You can consider having them at a local restaurant or bar. Maybe you have them at a juice bar or a coffee Starbucks, you know. Maybe you have them at a park or a beach if it's a nice day out. Find ways to bring fun into every aspect of your work environment.
You know, it's one of the things we examined in the presentation. They may not have the full frame of reference here, but is that we have seen that there are several studies that show that people are actually more productive when they're having fun, when they're working in fun work environments. It's one of those things that's a little counterintuitive, but really, when you redesign your work environment, it's kind of like putting you and your team on performance-enhancing drugs. It really is. So let's talk about the second point, which is to make the home buying experience an experience. Explain how you would do this, why you would do this, Corey.
You know, I feel like so often realtors have fallen into this idea of, you know, making the home buying process a process. And I feel like that your clients have invited you to be a part of one of the most life-changing events of their life. And it's our obligation as a realtor to reflect this romance in every step of the process. Starting with the home search. As you're finding them homes, you know, maybe you have refreshments in the car available as they get in and toys for the kids so that they can play. You want to make memorable experiences with each home that they visit. So maybe you turn on the fireplace on a really hot day, or you go to the back patio and take 10 minutes to take in a view of a house that has a great view. Try and create memorable experiences throughout the entire home search. Maybe you build quirky traditions along the way as a great way to make it an experience. So if you take pictures throughout the entire time, the experience that you're building, you present them with a photo album at the end. A great way to truly make it an experience. Lastly, I want to challenge you to re-examine how you move them into their new house. This should be an experience that will blow their mind, something that they will never ever forget. You know, maybe you hire a limo to pick them up and take them to their new house and have a bottle of champagne waiting on ice. Maybe you have their favorite music playing as they walk through the doors to their new home for the very first time. Things that will make it an experience that blows their mind. Make sure that the home buying experience, it hasn't been reduced to anything less than a complete and total experience.
You know, it is one of those things as real estate agents, you know, you're out there in the field, you're doing this all the time, and you sometimes forget that these are the most pivotal, crucial moments in your clients' lives. They will never be here again, at least not in this exact same situation, and taking the time to make that an experience makes it an experience they're going to want to share with other people, and it dramatically improves your referral rates.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about our third and final point, which is take a chance, share yourself. Corey, explain what you mean by this and explain how they can do that.
You know, I think that realtors are the social elite when it comes to getting to know your clients. You know everything about them. You're great at asking questions, but I feel like so often realtors are afraid to let their clients get to know them. So often realtors feel like it's important to only share what they can do professionally and not let their clients into their lives personally. You know, and what we've found out is that when you take the time to build a personal relationship, that it has a lot more, it has a much higher chance of leading to a professional relationship. Not just one that works out, but one that truly creates a memorable experience, one that people will talk about, one that people feel comfortable coming back. And so I want to challenge you to blend your personal and your professional lives. That what we've realized is that people are interested in people. You know, they want to know more about you, and in order to trust you to assist them in one of the most integral decisions of their life, that they want to be able to trust you both personally and professionally. So take a chance and share yourself. You know, let them into your lives, and whether it's through a Christmas letter that you do, or whether it's you know, including them with kind of what's going on in your life. Maybe it's through a blog. Find ways to let your clients into your life so that they can get to know you personally as well as professionally.
You know, absolutely. And you know, we, for those of you that don't know, both of our parents were successful real estate agents, and so we saw this in action our entire lives, where you really see that our parents and real estate agents in general, I think, are always at their best when it's kind of hard to tell if they're working or if they're having fun.
Right.
I remember, you know, my parents closing deals and getting clients while we were playing Little League games and stuff, and they'd just be sitting there talking and they'd get new clients. But that's the way business is done in real estate. That's the way these relationships are built. And any successful agent I've ever met, they are blending their personal life and their business life. It's so true. So hopefully those have been some really interesting ways that you can start to implement fun into your business. Now we're going to transition into my favorite part of the podcast, the Wright Brothers shameless plug. The part where we ask not what this podcast can do for you, but what you can do for our podcast. So, and this time we'd really like to ask you to help us spread the fun gospel. Help us have other people making their work environments fun, taking a chance and sharing themselves, and making the home buying experience an experience. Would you do us a favor and forward this podcast on to 2 people that you know could use it? And if you're watching this because somebody forwarded it to you, I promise you're not getting this because somebody thought you don't have any fun. So, I promise that's not why. So anyways, that's about it.
So a quick recap: redesign your work environment, make the home buying experience an experience, take a chance to share yourself. That's some ways that you can start to have fun. We are delivering this full seminar to a few more boards throughout Southern California. If you'd like to get us in for the full seminar, or if you'd like to see if we have any dates scheduled in your area, feel free to let us know and we can get back to you. That's all we have for this edition of Tech Corner. We'd like to thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next time.